This episode of the Golf Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is presented by WynnBET. WynnBET is now live in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Tennessee, and Virginia. From boosted same-game parlays to live in-game odds, WynnBET has what you need to win. You sign up today, you bet $100, you get $100 at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBET, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET. State restrictions do apply. And we're also brought to you by the SGPN merch store. Head over to the store.sportsgamblingpodcast.com and use promo code MADNESS for 10% off orders of $40 or more. All right, D-Gens, welcome back. It's your boy, Boston Capper, with the God of Golf, Steve Shermer, and very special guest, John Haslbauer, a.k.a. PGA Tout on Twitter, for the Players Championship Best Bet Show. John, ugly shirt. What's happening, baby?
What's going on? I appreciate you guys having me on. I thought I might be banned after the whooping I've been giving you guys in the fantasy league we're all in. Very courteous you guys to still extend the invite to me.
Yeah, I mean,
it was a whooping too. You crushed me this week.
I am hot as hot can be in that league. I've got Scotty, Homa, Day, and Keegan, and they finish like top 10 every week. I'm cruising. I don't even have to make decisions.
You're peaking too soon, man.
I am peaking too soon.
That's I got some bad news. I think all those players are not playing next week at the Valspar. So it's gonna. You might have to drop poor Keegan on the waivers or to pick up like Harry Howell or something like that.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I swear you did that shit out of spite, knowing I was behind you and knowing I would.
You know what's funny?
I was legit pissed at you that night.
Yes, I know. That's why I thought I was never going to be invited back here. What's funny is I really wanted Spieth in the second round, and I would have picked him over Homa. And then you took Spieth, so I took Homa. So that was a happy little accident over there.
Yep. There you go. So, all right, so it's Players Championship week. We are going to do the betting show tonight. Go over our betting cards. So I know personally, looking at a lot of these odds, every time we come to like a big tournament, major championship preview, there's always a lot of really juicy odds out there. But the problem with that though is that Sawgrass is so volatile, and it just seems like every other year you kind of get a little bit of shakeup with the leaderboard. So putting together your betting card this week, John, did you kind of notice that as well, or did you have a little bit more difficult time seeing a lot of really appealing stuff, but also knowing in the back of your mind that this thing is kind of a car crash of a year, and this might just all go to hell very quickly?
Yeah, I hate the weeks such as the Players last year where you had to be like patient and see the weather splits before you bet. And I didn't do that. So I got wiped out from the get-go. Like I went all in on, I think Colin and Sung Jae, they caught the bad wave and they shot 10 over and they were gone. Yeah. And I had a short card. So this year I said, at the very least, I'm going to put a long card together. I'm going to fade the three favorites because all three of those favorites have their sort of flaws here. I know Rory's won, but he's had a bunch of miscuts in between those. Rahm doesn't miss the cut here, but he's never finished top 10, and Scheffler hasn't looked good here. So this is one of those weeks where I don't feel like they're going to be dominant, and it's Sawgrass, so it's always volatile. So I feel a little better, like I feel a little less afraid to not have exposure to the elites. So I built a little bit of a longer card, and something that I did this year was just kind of like buy in on the guys who were trending on Sunday at API before the odds adjusted on Monday. So I got a couple, good numbers on guys who look like they found some form in the last round of API.
I like it because I'm gonna need some help because my betting card right now is only 3 guys, and I didn't know. Well, just for the outrights, the rest of my shit is madness. But the like, I don't know what to do with the top 3. Like I'm basically between Scotty and then adding 2 other losers. Like it's like 2 guys who are just gonna lose, and it's so frustrating. Like I just don't know what to do. I don't want Ramya. I know it was his worst off the tee in his entire fucking career, but I didn't like what he was doing the weekend before with his driver, and he will get fucking absolutely crushed here if it happens again. And I just had money on Rory, right? And I never bet the top of the board ever, and fucking have money on Rory, and he's a choking dog, and so that's what he will do. He will fucking choke like a dog if he's in contention on Sunday. The only time he does anything on Sunday is when he's 10 strokes back and he wants to make a show of it so he can backdoor a top 5. So that's my Rory spiel. Yeah. So I don't know what to do. Like I'm literally like with tournaments like this, and this happened to me 2 weeks ago too, with the last elevated event or last weekend with the event. I look at these odds and it's everybody is compressed for the most part between 25 and under.
Yeah.
And it's like, which loser am I picking?
We're in a very interesting time with outright betting because we have 3 just really established guys and then a giant gap. Like you kind of see it. Like I think last week we commented at DraftKings, we're like, holy crap, like these guys are just so much, like higher than everybody else. And the same thing on the betting board now. You got like guys basically low teens and single digits and then 20, which is actually kind of refreshing. It's nice. For a while there, it seems like a lot of guys are kind of bunched under like 25 to 1, like 15 guys are like, all right, what the hell are we going to be doing with this thing? But yeah, like that's kind of the danger this week too, is like there's a lot of really tempting numbers out there, knowing that there's just landmines all around. As far as my betting card, I'll tell you what happened this morning. So I got up and I kind of just started firing up my apps and everything. I'm like, oh, I kind of like this. I kind of like this. I kind of like this. And then I realized after a while, oh my God, I have like 15 positionals already. This is horrible. But you know what? Listen, it's the Players Championship. I actually like a lot of the guys I put down. I didn't do what I did last week of create like a non-TBC Sawgrass type card of guys who just don't do well here, but I just have hopes and dreams that they'll do well. It looks like an actual Players Championship card. I kind of like it. It might be a little shocking in some areas, but I got a couple guys that I'm kind of going on a limb on a little bit, but yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. And then, I mean, it looks pretty to start, but we know with Sawgrass, it could get wiped out very quickly.
It started to get gray this afternoon, and I was like, there's no fucking rain in the forecast. And like it hung around gray for a little bit. And I was like, is it gonna fucking rain? Like, is it gonna start this shit again? Like, because I don't want what happened last year. Like you said, not only just from a betting perspective, but what a slog of a tournament. Start, stop, fucking weird Monday finish. I was there on Sunday, so I watched the end of round 2 and the start of round 3 on one ticket. It's fucking weird.
Yeah,
man.
it's just weird.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead, John.
I was on a bachelor party that weekend, and I was supposed to fly home on Monday, and I was just like dead. And I was like the only. I had a red eye Monday night, and so what ended up happening was I was like the only one that got the red eye. So I was like alone, hungover in Scottsdale. So I was like in a random Starbucks, and I posted up like hungover writing my preview for the next week and streaming on my phone the final round of the Players. So it was like not the worst thing for like a Monday finish, because I feel like most people were like at work or something and it was horrible, but it at least like kept me sane. But it's you never want a tournament to end on Monday and so much random shit happened because of the weather. So hopefully it stays a little more in check.
And I could have gone back because they were like, yo, if you had a ticket for Sunday, you just come back on Monday. And I was like, man, do I want to go? And I was like, well, I had Smith, and I was like, I can't fucking watch this shit in person. Like, I need to watch the end when I have money on somebody like on TV so I can see the people in front of them, how they're fucking me. How am I losing this lead? Ended up working out. But,
yeah. I mean, you would have had an aneurysm if you were actually following Cam Smith last year between his duck hook into the woods and then hitting into the water on 18. Like, yeah, we would have been hearing you just swearing profusely on the telecast. Like the entire last hole would have been just an audio dump, no audio, just getting F-bombs the whole way. So it's probably a good thing you just watched it.
Escorted off of fucking Sawgrass property.
There you go. So, all right, so why don't we take a quick break, and then why don't we get right into the our outright bets this week?
All right. Well, listen, WynnBET is the official online sportsbook of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. WynnBET is active in a bunch of states, and there's tons of ways to win, including live betting and same game parlays. AK WynnBETs, build your own bet. March Madness is almost here. Plus, there's plenty of ways to win, getting down the NBA, NHL, and XFL. Sign up today to receive a special offer. Bet $100, get $100. It is limited state availability, and of course, our DGens only parlay. If you hit the biggest long shot parlay of the week, you $1,000 in free credit. There's so much to choose from, and all you got to do is head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBET so they know that we sent you. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET. Offer is subject to change. Terms and conditions at WynnBET.com. Must be 21 or older and present in the state where playthrough WynnBET is available. If you or somebody you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. What did Jeff text us earlier today? I sound like a fucking giant cokehead at like 1 1/4 speed.
Yeah, I guess so. All right, it's outright bets. So John, you mentioned that you got early on some guys right after API. Did you bet on anybody before? Like, I mean, these odds been out for like a month or so. Do you have anything that you've had for a while, or did all your bets kind of come like immediately, like on Sunday?
Yeah, I because of how crazy the weather was last year, I did stay committed to not betting anything more than like a week out. But once it was Sunday, I was like, I really had to stop myself from betting the entire card on Sunday. But But yeah, so everything I placed was essentially this week, but a couple on Sunday.
Okay. All right. So who's the first guy in your outright card?
So the first guy I bet was Keegan.
Yes, let's go.
Because he went on that like 4 straight birdie streak, and he went from like 40th to T10 immediately. And I was like, okay. So I got him at 90, and I think he's like 50 or 45 or something.
I got him at 55.
Yeah, so. Which I think is a fair number. I bet him last year, and he was kind of in it. Like he needed to like birdie 18, I think, and he could have been there, which is like asking a lot. And then
he put it in. It was my worst case scenario. I had my 2 favorite golfers, but I only had a ticket on one of them, and I couldn't openly root against fucking Keegan Bradley. I was literally in a mental pretzel that entire fucking day. I was texting Steve like, I have no idea what to do. I don't know how to feel right now. I can't root against him. Oh God, yeah, that was hard.
And of course, I was just poking the bear the entire way too. You know, like, oh, Keegan birdie, fire emoji, let's go. And it's gritting your teeth on the other side there. Yeah.
I feel like this is where Keegan learned to putt again. Like after the Players last year, he like flipped it and he was a good putter immediately because he was hitting pressure putts at the Players. Like this is not what Keegan does. And you're right. Back 9, he was blitzing it. He was birdieing everything. And then he got to 18 and it was like, that's the Keegan.
In the drink. Was he going
into the trees? I can't
remember.
And then he punched it out of the trees into the water.
That's right. Yes, I remember that.
So he finished like T6 or 8 or something. But he was like literally, if he birdied it, he would have went to a playoff or something. So I like Keegan here. I'm with you. Like I bet Keegan a lot, and I'll probably always like him here because he's from Jupiter and just he always plays well at this course.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well. All right, that's one thing that is driving me nuts is that everybody's on this. He's the only one who hasn't missed a cut in 5 full rounds. I'm like, will everyone stop saying this into the ether? Like you're going to make him miss a fucking cut. Stop talking about a non-missed cut streak. Plus he talked to somebody this week and like in person, and I'm like, did the bad juju rub off on him just for being around him? Oh God. Yeah, I'm pretty stressed out.
All right, so
he's been as mushed as a player can get mushed this week, I would say.
Yeah. I think he's like the 3rd most tipped right now too on according to like that golf tipping handle.
He does a good job compiling that shit.
That is pretty good.
Yeah, shout out to him. So.
All right, who else is on your betting card?
I guess I'm going in order of when I played Sid, which is a really confusing way to do it.
So we don't care.
I'm gonna go. I'll start at the top. I get. Do you want me to go through my entire card and then you guys go, or
that's fine. But the order you placed them in, I think, is actually more interesting. So go through the order you placed them in.
If we share where the outrights, I like add a comment or two. But just go through your entire card and then we'll fill in some gaps.
Yeah, so I'm on Keegan at 55 as well for all the reasons you said. Plus, listen, when you bet Keegan a lot, you're just gonna bet him. Like it's just. Yeah. Cousin Bush texted me. He's like, we need to make a promise. You got to stop betting Keegan this year. I was like, I mean, I could tell you that, but I'm not going to stop betting Keegan.
Yeah. He's still also at a price range where it's like, all right, I'm not giving up not making any like compromises on my card to have Keegan there.
Yep. Exactly.
So Jason Day, I bet on Sunday. That was like the tournament just finished and I looked at the odds and I saw a 50 on him. Yep. So like, I knew that was going to go down. You don't have 4 straight top 10s and a past champion and great history at the Players and not have that dip in tournament week. So happy with the 50 there. And then Tom Kim was the other one. He had I wouldn't even say like his odds like super dipped after Sunday. He played okay on Sunday. So I got a 50 on him as well. So Day 50, Tom Kim 50 and Keegan 90 were my first 3 bets.
That's a good stat.
Good CLV.
Yeah, which doesn't matter, you nerds, unless the fucking ticket hits. Because what's Day now? Day's at like 28, right?
Oh yeah. He's got like the same prices like Hovland and stuff.
So stupid.
I don't know. I really don't know. Like,
is he cursed?
I don't know. No, he's safe.
Who? He's safe.
Okay.
Homa is not on my card for certain.
Oh, that's
for certain reasons.
Yeah. I had it mixed up in my brain.
Yeah. So I'm on Morikawa too. That's like the shortest guy on my card. I got a 30 on him. That wasn't available for most people, but I think he was hanging at 28 for most of the week, and now he's probably down to 25 is what you can get him at. I would still play him at 25, but just one of those guys who like the results haven't been there yet. He had a terrible draw last year. I guess debutant the year before that. So the results haven't been there yet, but it would make sense on the die course positional. He's one in Florida. Anybody who's written up this week can say like a bunch of great things about Colin. You want to be a good approach player here. So I'm not really concerned about the miscut last week. I'm actually glad he did it because now we get a better number of the players and I was going to play him regardless. So happy to have that. And then Lowry, I bet at 55.
Okay.
That was a number bet. Like he rated out well in the model too, but like, do I see Shane Lowry winning the players? I hope so now. I mean,
is he going to chip into the water like he did at Harbortown?
There's like a lot of water to worry about here.
Yes,
and he really finds ways to not win tournaments, but at the same time,
he certainly does.
He is a major champion, and he's the only guy with back-to-back top 20s at this event. So, and he got the ace here last year, so he's probably feeling confident going into that island.
It was awesome.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I bet. Yeah, he was pumped about it. Like, not enough emotion on the PGA Tour from guys who get their aces. Like,
well, that's because all these guys are named Chad, and what's the new guy's name? Fucking Peabody. What's the new with the twin brother and fucking
Pearson Cootie?
There you go, Pearson Cootie. Like, these guys are all the same person. Their dad works in tech, finance, or oil, and they grow up in the country club. They'll have the same exact swing, same exact bland personality, and it's like, there's definitely not enough emotion. It's like the old people who get mad at like the young Dominican guys chucking bats in baseball. Like, they're having fun. It's called fun. Like, it's allowed to be had.
I know. I hope to see more aces this week. That's what we're signing up for. So I don't really bet Shane Lowry that much, but good short game, plays well in difficult conditions. Won a major. So we'll try our luck there. And then Sahith, I got an 85.
Okay.
You're
speaking my language now.
This is a heart bet because I would just be so happy if he won. But like, you look at where Sahith has played his best, and it's all these like different pieces of what Sawgrass is. It's obviously waste management, is that like TPC, risk reward, trouble everywhere. Not known to be a good driver, but seems to drive it well there because he can hit that like driving iron instead of taking driver out. So I like that. RSM Classic, he had a runner up. That's more of your like Bermuda sort of. Yeah, Bermuda and exposed to wind would be like the best comp I can give to Sawgrass. Definitely not as difficult as this is. And what am I blanking?
This guy gonna finish his Southwind.
Yep.
Like
Southwind
there. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Southwind.
I look at all the same stuff too.
Southwind is a pretty good comp here as well, and it's sort of that like the playoffs have that sort of atmosphere to it that's going to be similar to what we see here. So no, I was thinking of actually River Highlands. It's the die design that he's played well on. So that there he had a runner up. So he's kind of like circling the drain on what you need to do at Sawgrass. Didn't play well last year. I'm throwing away anybody who didn't play last year well because of the weather. So long number. I love Sahith. Would love to see him get it done here. I get a little nervous about the nervy tee shots that he's going to have on a Sunday if he's in the mix. But
like a Mito swing on 18 if he has the lead. Yeah. What the hell was that?
He's attached at the hip with Mito too because he was in the same full swing episode as him. So maybe he got that's not good juju either.
Maybe full circle. But so the only good thing about Sahith though is actually Dating. I'll put out an article about how when guys miss really big, where do they miss? And Sahith misses big right. And if you're going to miss anywhere at Sawgrass, actually it's missing right. That's okay. So you know what? There's a lot of waters on the left. So as long as he just bails out like 30 miles on the right, he could still make par. Everything's okay. So that's what I tell myself as I go to sleep at night with some stuff on Sahith on my betting card, which actually is probably going to be a piece of content I put out tomorrow. So spoiler alert, stay tuned for that. So, but I really like Sahith this week. We talked about him last night. His DFS ownership doesn't seem like it's a whole all that high because anybody who does a model, like there's so much like, and you know, this is a Sahith lover, like so much bad crap is in like his last 50 rounds. Like when he's bad, he's really bad. But man, like he's been playing so good with Torrey Pines. He played great. Riviera's been playing great. All those courses you mentioned with a lot of penalty areas where you don't think the Sahith would be very good. He's been really good. So I like taking a stab at what, like 85 to 1 you got him at?
Yeah, I think you can get like a 75 or an 80 on him today. Yeah. So
that would be something because he's electric, and I think the crowd would be all behind him if he was in contention coming down on Sunday.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm writing it down.
Okay. There you go. All right.
Definitely have to be built for the moment here. You see a lot of like veterans that tend to just like random veterans, but guys who've like seen some shit end up at the top of the board, and that's why the debutants probably haven't been as great here. But he's kind of like stepped up every time he's been in like a high pressure moment.
He just missed that putt against Xander. And I know Xander ended up birdieing, right? Whatever. So it was a moot point. But man, he almost hit that fucking putt. And like, I remember.
Yeah. Okay. I still have a couple more on the
Jesus Christ. How many guys do you out like that?
Keep it rolling. Keep it rolling.
They're all long shots because I started my card at 30. But Hoagie and Power both at 150.
Okay.
Power
just like
Power was so bad over the weekend. So bad.
He never plays well at Bay Hill though.
Ugh.
Power's weird because his approach numbers are awful, but his best performances are at like the non-shot length courses. So maybe there's something that we're missing there. Like obviously he won Bermuda, he played well at Mayakoba the week after that. Something about like coastal windy courses that remind him of his Irish motherland, maybe. I don't know. I like Seamus.
It's a lot colder back at the motherland than it is down in Bermuda and Florida.
Yeah,
I saw some hoodies.
Or maybe has some like electromagnetic like allergy or something because they shoot with the lasers of the shot link, right? So maybe just is better after that.
Yeah.
Listen,
I mean, there's hoodies out there at Sawgrass. I've seen them.
Oh, dude, listen, I go. Listen, when they switched the match, the first year they switched the match, I was freezing my balls off out there. It was like drizzly rain, too. I was like, this is fucking awful. Like, I was like, why did we switch this? But it actually works out because it used to be on Sunday on Mother's Day. So there was never a shot for me to go on Sunday, ever. Like, nope, not with 4 kids. I'm not going, hey, babe, happy Mother's Day. I'm going to TPC all day. Never happening. Never. So the move helped me personally.
Good. Yeah, no, I remember I was watching highlights of Ricky's win and it was like pink everywhere. Like they made the trees pink and everyone was wearing pink. That was one of the last years I think it was on Mother's Day before they moved it.
There you go. All right.
Who else you got?
Last one.
Okay.
Matt Kuchar, 340 to 1.
Yeah, everyone ever cares. It's a lottery ticket.
Now that's a dude. If he makes an ace, hates it because then he's got to buy for everybody at the bar afterwards. So,
but biggest purse of the year. His ears are perking up there.
He's
going to come to play.
He might get 10 grand. Maybe we'll see.
How charitable. Matt Kuchar take 10 grand off the 4.5 million he'd win there.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Capper. Did John sway on anything there to fill in some of the gaps on your betting card?
So I'm thinking about Digala because that's a guy like I like to root for, and at this point, like I don't know, like I can't get good numbers. I can't go back to Morikawa. I was with him. I was on him last week. I just can't. Like there's something about it. I just can't do it. There's something's been off with him, and I can't quite place it because he had like 3 top 10s before a random missed cut, and then did he miss another cut too, or was it just a shitty?
He missed a cut at Phoenix.
And then he missed the cut last week, and it's like
so he's gone good finish, bad finish, good finish, bad finish.
We had 2 good finishes prior to that, didn't he? He had like 3 top 10s before his cut.
Yeah, he almost won Kapalua. He did very well at Torrey.
Farmers
missed the cut at Phoenix. Did very well at Riv, and then missed the cut last week.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just can't get there. I just can't do it. I bet on too many bad putters. I can't fill my life with stressful 4-foot putts. Like there's only so many people I can watch over a weekend before my heart's just gonna be like, listen, man, we're done. Like we're done watching this. Like you gotta bet on somebody who can actually make a putt.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Sounds like someone who's been on the Keegan wagon for too long.
Yeah, exactly. exactly. Corey Connors before that. Like, all the fucking bad putters, all of them.
Mm-hmm. All right. So,
who else you got? Because I have a feeling I know who.
All right. So you want to go through who I got right now?
Yeah, because I need to fill the rest of my fucking card.
All right. I'd stay true to kind of what I've been betting over the last 8-10 months or so. I did not get very creative with my card. I kind of stayed within a certain range. If I miss out on a long shot, I miss out on a long shot. It is what it is. So I found some good numbers on some guys I like though. So I started my card also at 30. It's actually 2 guys at 30 and 3 guys at 40. So, and that's the card. So, all right. So Victor Hovland 30-1. Listen, that was a very tough scene. What happened on Sunday at API between just couldn't get anything going on the front nine. Ends up getting a plug lie in the bunker, ends up heading, next to the lip, takes a double there, hits a really, really stinky iron shot into 16, just with, under the gun there. Not a good look. But listen, I mean, like that's 2 years in a row that he blew Bay Hill, and then he came back last year at the Players. And if a couple of putts just drop for him on the back nine, maybe it's not Cam Smith that wins, maybe it's Hovland, but maybe he can do it again. I think that this tournament might resemble a little bit like 2021, where Capper, you've been kind of saying that you think that the greens are going to be pretty firm at TBC Sawgrass this week. They got some rain last weekend. They got some wind tomorrow to dry it out. Maybe a little bit of rain on Friday, Saturday night, but a little bit of wind and sunshine on Saturday.
It was hot. It was hot as shit yesterday. It was almost
so what happened in that tournament was how you ball striking really mattered a lot more in that tournament than in 2019, 2022. And it just, Hovland's ball striking right now just is awesome. He hit the irons great last week. The off the tee has been really good. He drives it really well here too. And some of the recent changes they made at Sawgrass, I want a guy that really does well off the tee here, just because it is so weird and quirky. And he drives it really great here. So Hovland 30-1, Zalatoris 40-1 as well. Kind of similar things about Hovland that I like about Zalatoris is, great ball striker. I'm not really all concerned what happened last week. He still hit the ball fine. His problems were kind of around the green and on the and putting as well. But he's shown flashes. His iron play was really good at Riviera. He was only 3 back heading into the final round last year and kind of faded on Sunday. So I know he can at least get in the mix. He's won at TBC Southwind. So I know that if he can win at that type of track, which I don't think there's much difference between Southwind and this place, he can definitely do it here. So 40-1 actually on him. I thought that was a good price. I took the bait with Terrell Hatton at 40-1. It's a little bit of FOMO because I know Capper, you're all over him this week, and I love Hatton. He hit the ball really good on Sunday, just couldn't get a putt to drop. I'm a little concerned about how the last 3 Players Championships, it seems like a guy just gets mega hot on Sunday and just runs guys down. Rory did it, JT did it, and then Cam Smith did it. I'm not really too sure if Hatton is that type of guy, or maybe he's the type of guy that can actually hold someone off in that situation. But considering how well he's been driving the ball, hitting his irons, the putting has been overall pretty good, except for what happened on Sunday.
He gained 4 strokes in a single round on Saturday.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
And it just regressed. But I just like how he plays here. His form before last year wasn't very good, but he had that 13th place finish, which is misleading because he went for the green on Sunday. Yeah. A really aggressive shot, fell down the leaderboard. It was a much better showing what it was, and 41 on him.
Yeah, he's going for the win.
Yeah. So I took Hatton. This is a kind of a close your eyes pick. Spieth 40-1. So obviously you got a little bit of concern with the back injury. We don't really know exactly where he's at with that, but I know he's had a lot of problems off the tee sometimes. Cam Smith lost strokes off the tee and only hit 50% of his fairways and still ended up winning because he's got those magic beans. He just gets up and down from everywhere. Kind of like what Jordan Spieth did at Bay Hill last year. He's got some problems with the putter too, but Justin Thomas lost strokes putting and still won. So I know that there's actually 2 scenarios that, if he's weak in one of those areas, he can do it. He's won at TBC River Highlands. He's won at Harbor Town. He's won these putter golf courses, and he's just in really good form. And I know he's been really bad at Sawgrass, but he does have a 4th place finish there. He actually has historically driven the ball pretty well at Sawgrass as well. So I mentioned a guy that can kind of just get hot on Sunday and run and just, get the crowd behind him and start making some magic. And that's a guy like Jordan Spieth at 40-1.
So let me ask you something, because he's one of the guys who who I was debating against, right? So he has his magic beans where he can get up and down fucking from wherever.
Yeah.
In my brain, the problem is around the green here is water. So if you fuck up and you miss, it's a penalty. You're not going to have the ability to get up and down for par or birdie on a par 5. It's like, all right, I'm getting up and down for bogey now. Does that make sense? Is that maybe why he doesn't finish it so well here?
Well, it's only 8 of 18 greens have water.
Okay.
So the biggest
just 8. That's all.
It's the part. It's 16, 17, 18.
Yep.
And then I still think he'll be okay. That's a good point you make. But
it was a question. It wasn't a point. It was a legitimate question.
I mean, overall, his iron play has been pretty good over the last year or so. So yeah. I'm fine with him in that area. So, and then I had one more spot on my card, and I kind of I talked myself into it last night, and the number kind of drifted today, and I was like, all right, you know what? I was going to take it. Xander 30-1. Obviously, 3 straight missed cuts on paper, not great, but I think it's a little misleading. I mean, he does have that second place finish way back in 2018. Last year, he was 4 under before everything paused. And then he had to go straight to 17 with that 40-mile-per-hour wind, immediately puts it in the drink, and then makes an 8 on 18. And then that's the tournament for him. In the COVID year, he was 2 under after the first round, hit the ball really good. So listen, I think it's been a little bit of a product of bad luck for him. I think maybe he's had a little bit better showings than what he has, on paper here. He played pretty good for 2 rounds at Bay Hill and then kind of faded, but overall this year he's been pretty good. He's got that 4th place finish at the Stadium Course PGA West. That's a watered down version of Sawgrass. You have TBC River Highlands he's been really good at. I know that if the wind does get up, I know that got him last week, but he won the Scottish Open. That was windy. TBC River Highlands that final round, it was windy. He showed a lot of toughness there. So at 30-1 for Xander, considering I think he's been better at Sawgrass than what he's actually shown. That's another guy too that I think they can kind of get hot on Sunday, run down the leaders, and just like steal this thing. So those are my 5 outrights.
He was in position to fucking do it, and for whatever reason, he drank everything within 5 feet. If it was 5 feet 2 inches, 5 feet 7 inches, he was fucking missing the putts. And listen, as I was happy about it at the time, but at the same point, like what is he doing? How is he fucking this up? Like. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah. One other comment about Xander, by the way. So our producer actually mushed Xander after 36 holes. So, I'm just going to blame him and then go right back to Xander this week.
Yeah, agreed.
I will say with like the course history stuff, for me, as long as you've had any positive result here, like a top 10,
agreed.
Yeah, I can look past all the miscuts because, like you said, you can get a bad draw. You can have one water hole that blows you up, and you miscut despite playing well. So he had that runner up like 4 years ago or whatever. I'm good with buying low off of the consecutive miscuts for him.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, so I'll give you what I have down already, and we've talked about all of them already, and then I'm going to leave it up to you 2 assholes, so I can blame you when they don't go right for which way I want it to go. So I got Hatton at 47 for every the 47 to 1. It's like 46.75. It's that weird book.
That's a number available to everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever. Yeah. Listen, I get it at 40. I don't care. I think Hatton's going to play well here, like you said. Look, the 13th isn't representative of what he did. He had an aggressive play. He ended up in the drink, and he fell down the leaderboard. His game should fit here. I, like you, wonder if he can blitz on a Sunday. That was a good point. Like, I didn't think about it until you just said it like that. He might be able to. He could do it on a Saturday, but can he do it on a Sunday? You watch more Euro shit than I do, so I have no idea. But listen, I love his attitude. If it gets windy, he can get it done. He likes putting here, so I don't know. He hasn't insulted this course yet either, so that's good.
There you go. That is a plus.
That's a plus. Yeah. I'm on Keegan 55 to 1. I don't need to explain. And I got Willie Z at 35 to 1. Not only all the things you said, Steve, you forgot to mention that there were outside forces that were compelling him not to do well last weekend.
Good point.
So I would, you know what somebody should do? I'm gonna have Paulie do it. Let's see what the flop lag is on the curse the week after. What's the bounce back rate?
Okay.
I'm gonna have somebody get on that. I want to see what that is. So I guess my choices are I can just be a pussy and bet Scotty 10 to 1 because I'm a coward.
Hold on. So you really want to bet Scotty after some of the stuff I said last night about him?
Yeah, I just trust him more than Rom right now. I just do.
Okay.
I think my Scotty take is it feels like he's repeating 2022, where like he was like kind of slow out the gates and then waste management took off, wins, starts to really like get in form, plays API basically the same way twice. So I'm like, I think I'm going to go back to him where he played well last year, and I'm not going to go back to him where he didn't. But last year was also like super weather impacted.
Right, exactly. So you kind of throw last year out if he had made any putts, he lost a stroke putting last week. Like he would have ran away with that. If he had lost half a stroke to the field, he would have ran away with that fucking thing. So it's just I'm just so frustrated with the state of the fucking favorites winning all the time. You know what I mean? Like, and I just don't I don't know. Rory did whatever last week, and I don't know. I just don't. His comments today with it's just a personality thing. The fact that I had money on him last week was a fucking anomaly. So yeah, no, I'm not going to do Rory. So it's either that or I can still get a 35 on Spieth and I can get a 27 on Vic. And then I guess I can sprinkle a little Thigala since I can still get him at 82.
Hey, an even number.
Yes.
So I be
got steamed up from 84.
Do I do a pussy? Am I a pussy, or do I just go ahead and take the guys who aren't going to win the tournament?
I mean, my personal philosophy is like the more guys on your card, the better at the Players, because it's one bad shot and you're out of it.
Yeah,
I agree. What about you?
I think you just go with your gut.
No, you have to answer. He doesn't want the text. He doesn't want the angry text. You're gonna get the text anyway.
I think you should just bet Scotty.
Fuck.
Get it over with.
All right. Thanks for clarifying, boys. My final card will be out tomorrow now. Okay. Thank you.
There you go. All right. Why don't we take another quick break, and then why don't we get to some other props like matchups and positionals that we have in our card?
Yeah, worse. Listen, we're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog is your home for offseason NFL best ball drafts. They also got you covered for a ton of other daily games, including the NBA, NHL, PGA. Underdog Fantasy is a great way to get down on your favorite player props if they're not available in your state. Head over to UnderdogFantasy.com and use promo code SGPN for 100% deposit bonus up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPN.
Okay. All right. Let's also talk about Piper golf balls. So, I mean, you're in Rochester. I'm in Rochester, New York right now. We got a little bit of snow. It's finally starting to melt. So I go to the store and I'm like, all right, I got to get ready for golf season. So obviously I want to gravitate towards, some of the premium balls like your Pro V1s and TaylorMades. Well, why do that? I'm not good enough to actually maximize the benefit of using a premium ball like that. I'm not good enough. So why do that? Waste a bunch of money when I can actually pick up a golf ball that is just as good, as a Pro V1 or one of the premium balls. And that's Piper golf balls. They got a lot of really great golf balls that matches your handicap to your game based on everything you need, but including their premium ball, which is their gold line of balls. That's the Pro V1 equivalent. It's a 4-piece ball with urethane cover. It's got a high ball flight, soft feel. It gives you a lot of extra spin around the green too, and that's really important to really lower your scores. Is I can go to the driving range and hit driver and irons all day long, but if I'm not practicing my short game and I don't have a ball that's really going to help me there, I'm not really going to lower my scores, overall. So, go to piper.golf/GGP and you'll get 10% off your first order using promo code GGP. You can opt to subscribe and receive scheduled shipments of golf balls at a 50% discount, and you get free shipping on any orders over $50. So go to piper.golf/GGP and improve your game today.
Like it. And I can attest, I was worried about that spin rate with the gold ones because, whatever. But I played yesterday and I was not spraying it anywhere. I was fucking, all the guys were like, you're piping it. I'm like, yep, let's go.
There you go.
Makes for nice puns on the golf course.
Those extra distance boosters. So, yeah, they're working. So, all right. Why don't we go to positionals? So we're running a little long. So, John, why don't you start at the top there? Like, do you got any top 10s and 20s on your betting card this week?
Yeah, I haven't finished my placement card yet. I have a tough time with the players because of like the eject rate. Like usually the way I structure props is like I do one even money that's like my conviction bet, and it's usually one of like the top 3 favorites to top 20, something like that. Yep. And I don't feel very good about that with any of the favorites or really anybody in the top 10. I would say Justin Thomas kind of feels like the guy who's supposed to top 20 here. So that was my first thought. And then Jason Day sort of has like the combination of like can't finish outside the top 10 in the last couple months and has the most consistent history as a veteran of anybody else in that sort of range. So kind of leaning towards those two guys for top 20. Jason Day is going to be my one and done pick for like sort of that like floor that I kind of see with him the way his form is right now. And then Justin Suh is probably my guy at like the bottom of the board that I like for a placement.
Okay.
What number are you getting on him?
You get 5-1 on a top 20. I think that's pretty solid.
I would try to sell you on 2 other guys with a little deeper odds.
Okay.
I haven't placed basically anything. I just had like a note as I was going through the board, like, let's see where Justin Suh's odds are at the end of this. But yeah, he's someone who like watching the Honda is like when he like came out as like, oh, this guy's like a player.
Right.
Obviously, he's been like this like touted phenom in the Morikawa and Hovland class, and you were kind of waiting for this to happen. And that should have happened on like California, where he's like a star. So it was a little random that it happened in Florida, but he's looked really good on the Florida swing. And the ball striking has been super consistent. He's number 1 good drives gained and like number 5 greens in regulation. So that just tells me he's like really conservative, like just aims away from trouble, aims at the middle of the greens. So I like that for a top 20. It is his debut, so going to be hard for him to win. But if Doug Gim can do as well as he has it in the first 2 years,
fuck yeah,
I'll take a chance on Justin Suh.
I like it. It's the bath salts in Florida that help everybody. By the way, it's the bath salts.
Okay.
You would know.
Yeah, I like Justin Suh a lot this week. I got him for a top 40 though at plus 175. I'm a little more conservative about that, but for the same points you looked at, I was concerned coming into the when he came back to the PGA Tour, or well, got his car. I'm like, is this guy really for real? But he's really turned it around lately. Really good finishes at Honda. Good performance last week at Bay Hill. The ball striking's been really good. Pretty good from 125 to 200. Those like short mid iron ranges. I think that's a good combination for this week. So he's also on my card. So nicely done. All right, Capper. What about you? What any top 10s and 20s?
All right, so I'm kind of like you, John, when I do my placements. I used to never do placements, and Steve decided to force me to start doing them, and now I do them more than I should, because it's me. So I'm the same way. I was like, man, I'm looking at these numbers. I don't want anything with a fucking minus this week. And some weeks I'll do like a minus 130, minus 120 for something that I feel pretty secure on the top 20. No shot I'm just doing that this week. So I took Vic at plus 140 for a top 20. For all the reasons Steve talked about with Vic, like he should do well here. The irons are super sharp. Hopefully the around the green doesn't matter and he doesn't actually get in the fucking water and he can just putt. I saw him out here when it was cold. He was in Rahm's group. It was the most ridiculous looking fucking outfit I've ever seen on a golf course. It was like he looked like a penguin, like he had a big jacket on and like weird mittens that I'd never fucking seen. And I was like, aren't you from Norway? It's only like fucking 55 degrees, man. Or like it was like probably 45 at that point. But I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. But whatever. I like Vic this week. And yeah, so plus 140 on that. Hatton, plus 160. Keegan, 2-1. And my 2 long shots, Johnny Vegas, baby. Johnny Vegas at plus 550. That's 5-1. He's got a decent course history here. He's coming off an injury. He looked good at the API. T21. I mean, he hasn't missed a cut. I mean, he hasn't missed a cut since I guess Amex he did, but that was his first step back. And he hasn't missed a cut since then. 25, 23, 56, 21. If you're giving me, 5.5-1 with a course that he feels nice and comfy in, yes, please. 5.5-1. Give me some Johnny Vegas. I can avoid him in DFS as the chalk, and I'll just take him as a top 20 bet. And then maybe I'll just let you speak to your boy because you can get Ben Griffin, Steve, at 7-1 top 20.
Okay. I actually did not have Ben Griffin in my card this week.
Really? Should that trouble me? Because you're the Ben Griffin guy.
So his iron play hasn't been all that good lately. He has trouble sometimes finding fairways as well. So I didn't love that combo. But everything else about it, I mean, listen, that's all he's been kind of doing is just top 40ing over and over. Maybe the fact he's got a lot of attention on him, and I kind of saw a little bit of red flags. I'm like, maybe I should eject, at the right time.
I mean, look,
we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, look, whatever, dude. It's fucking 7-1.
Yeah, that's true.
For a top 20, he just top 15 at the API. He looked bad on approach, lost 4.5, which will kill you here. But T21 at Honda, he was even across the board. Gained a little bit tee to green, gained a little bit off the tee, gained a little bit putting. Nothing on approach and nothing on around the green. So, yeah, man, especially with like the rate that can happen here, a 7-1 on a guy who's coming in good form, right? Which I feel like is very important for this tournament. 7-1. Yeah, man, for a top 20 for a decent golfer. Come on.
Okay. All right. So I'm with you. I share a couple of you guys. I also got on the Justin Thomas top 20 plus 115 for all the reasons that John said, but just, and also I think factoring into this, I bet him at 30-1 last week and I woke up on Sunday morning thinking that Justin Thomas is actually going to finally hit a fucking putt on Sunday. And no, he not only couldn't hit putts, he couldn't hit his irons and just flew down the leaderboard. So, but I feel like maybe I shouldn't get off at this point. He has been really good here, really good in Florida, really good at these plotter positional golf courses. The iron game was fine last week for the most part, except for Sunday. I figure getting plus money on Justin Thomas top 20 is a pretty good bet. I also got the Victor Hovland top 20 plus 140 for all the reasons you said. I mean, I bet him outright. I like him there. I also bet Zalatoris top 20 plus 150. I think he's going to have another good showing. So, and then I actually took Haddon at top 30 and dipped down a little bit. I got plus 110 on him.
I'd take that too, though. Extra 10 places and just shaving $50 off. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, like I mean, difference between like plus 150 and plus 110. I'd rather just get the 10 places at that point. So some other guys on my card, I actually kind of like Rahm this week. I've talked a lot about him this week. I talked about him in the previous show and the DFS show last night. I'm not all that concerned about what happened last week. Obviously, off the tee, it was a mess. I think he can actually make some adjustments to come to Sawgrass, where this isn't a driver-heavy golf course. There are some holes where you can club back. And what I really like about Rahm right now, and maybe this is the difference between why he's only had like a 12-place finish. I think he finished like T9 in 2021 and really truly contending, is I like the fact that he hits this, feels like he's got this stock draw off the tee with like a long iron or a 3-wood. I think that really plays well on the holes. You got to hit it right to left with a tee shot. Obviously, if the driver is working, you can hit that fade. There's, the fact now he is capable of hitting it both ways, either clubbing down or with the driver. Obviously, hits a nice little clean draw into a lot of these greens. He also faded to. The fact that he hits it both ways, I really like that. I think he's going to bounce back this week and have a really good finish. So top 10 on him, plus 125, considering what he's been doing. Yeah, plus
money on a Rahm top 20.
Right. I like that. So
you don't even have, when you can get a plus money on the guy who's 8-1 to win the fucking tournament. Like there's no need to explain anything. Be like, I got a plus 125 for a top 20. That's it.
Yeah, and he's always driven the ball really well here too, and I like seeing that. So top 10 on him, plus 125. The other top 20 I had, Matthew Fitzpatrick, top 20 plus 180. Feels like maybe he's over the neck injury. Hit, had 2 really good rounds of his irons last week. One really bad round, one kind of meh round. But overall, I thought he played pretty well. Coming to TBC Sawgrass, where he's had some success here, success in other Florida tracks, success at other, plotter positional golf courses. I think getting plus 180 on top 20 for a guy that seems like he's coming in form, maybe rounding into shape. I like him there. So
what about strokes gain -13 personality? Do you not factor that in?
Come on, man. I'm sorry that episode triggered you. Okay. And
it did trigger me.
Yeah. Listen, I think it triggered everybody who watched it. I mean, you got triggered with the US Open thing. I got triggered by the Tour Championship with Scotty blowing a 6-shot lead after Rory fucking triples the opening hole. Forgot about that little convenient fact.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like we got triggered at the PGA National too because we had Willie Z tickets. That was fun. Like that. No. What the hell's the show called? Swing Up. What the hell's it called?
Full Sway.
Oh God! Like they could have came up with a better name. I could never remember it.
I obviously goes without saying was triggered by the Mito episode, like just dagger. Can I just say too,
stabs.
I watched the first episode on the Super Bowl night because they had that little promote, little ad. It was like, hey, watch a sneak preview. So I watched it and I was like, oh, that wasn't so bad. That was the PGA Championship episode. They just had that one little clip of Mito.
No.
Like, that's okay. I thought that was going to be way worse. And then there's an entire episode on Mito.
Yep.
All right. God,
let's just gut you right at episode 7, buddy.
Thought we got through the whole season, and then nope. Pulled the rug out from under me.
God, that drive. Oh no.
John, do you have any top 30s and 40s, or am I the only guy that has access to that stuff?
So I like the top 40 market this week. Like I was saying, like I look for an even odds bet, and I feel better about some of these like mid-tier guys in T40 than I do about the top tier guys at T20. So I was just looking through that because I hadn't had a chance to really dive into it too closely. I think Chris Kirk might be my favorite, like plus odds top 40 bet. Just he's looked great, so consistent. Like every time you watch him hit a ball, like it looks like it could only go straight. And he's he's a Bermuda guy. He's from Georgia or right in that area. So
I think he
seems pretty comfy there.
He?
That would seem right. Another guy who
Seems
like
right.
not the biggest personality in the room, but that's okay. He'll be even keeled to finish top. Like what would be more appropriate than a T36 finish for Chris Kirk and the Players?
That's fair.
I think that's actually what he did like a couple years ago. He was like top 5 heading into the final round, and then he had like an 80 on Sunday. I think like he barely hung on for like a top 40. So that would be very.
Has issues fixed up.
Yes.
Okay. So I have a bunch of top 30s. Obviously, I mentioned Hatton plus 110. I made a case for Cam Young last night. Obviously, he doesn't really fit the blueprint of what you're looking for, like bomber. That inaccurate stuff like that. But I mean, he's got that 3rd place finish at Harbor Town, so I know he can club down and plod around on a Pete Dye golf course and had some success. I looked at what he did last year. So he was in the bad wave. He was 3 under heading into 16. And I think if I recall correctly, what happened before they stopped play was it just started downpouring. And he was caught in that par 5, hit a really bad drive, ends up bogeying that hole. And then I think he paused on 18 and then came back that day and then just made a mess of everything. So the fact that he actually was playing pretty well, he was hitting a lot of fairways in that first round. So I think he can get around here. And, he showed really well last week at Bay Hill. There were some concerns with his around the green game. I thought he actually looked good around the green last week, except for the times that he basically had a ball submerge into a bunker. I couldn't really get out. That was the worst lie of the week. That's the gold medal for what happened to him on 17. But Cam Young top 30 plus 110. I think that gives me a little room in case he does decide to have just kind of a blow up round. I like him. Keegan Bradley top 30 plus 130. Corey Connors top 30 plus 135. I mean, both those guys are mega chalk this week. Probably one of them is going to bust.
Yeah, it better be fucking Connors.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping only one of those busts and the other one cashes, so I'm actually a little ahead at that point. So I took both those guys. I also got a mispriced Shane Lowry top 30 at 2-1. You can actually still find that on a nice. Pretty reputable book if you look for it. That's
irreputable or reputable?
Reputable.
Okay.
Yeah. So a well-known book. So you can go find that. And then
there's lots of shady books that are well.
No,
known, just saying.
This one's has a stamp of approval from the governor of New York. So. Okay. You're okay. And then
so it must be fine.
And then some top 40s. Obviously, I mentioned Justin Suh plus 175 for top 40. I actually wish that was like 2-1 or north. Or I was kind of surprised I was only getting a 1, but I for all the reasons John said, I like him. So this is never a reason why to gamble on a guy. I feel like Tommy Fleetwood owes me some money after what happened last week, considering how well he hit the ball and he couldn't hit a putt. So I'm going to go back to him. He owes me that top 40 ticket from last week at like plus 125. He's plus 135 this week. He's been really good at TPC Sawgrass, really good in Florida golf courses. Hit the ball fine last week. Can you just hit a putt on some overseeded greens? Please, please, please.
I would have been so tilted because I had Fleetwood in a matchup. Thank God it was against Seamus Power. Because that was the only fucking way that matchup was cashing. Yeah. And at one point, I was like, he can't fuck this up, right? Like it started trending to the way. I'm like, you can't blow this matchup. Yeah. But yeah, I like Fleetwood this week, man.
Yep. All right. And then top 40, Adam Scott plus 155. I thought that was a good price for him. He showed a little signs last week. He kind of got lost a little bit on the weekend, but was playing pretty well through 2 rounds. Really good at Sawgrass. Obviously a former winner here, but a lot of like solid, consistent, top 20, top 25 finishes through the years. I'm going to pretend like he was on the bad wave last year, even though I know he wasn't and still missed the cut. I'm going to pretend because it's my narrative. But he actually, the reason why he missed the cut last year, I think he took a 9 on 18 in the first round. But then in round 2, he shot 2 under. So if it wasn't for that, he actually would have made the cut, and who knows from there. So Adam Scott top 40 plus 155, and then I got a couple other bets on a guy that's going to be my FOMO bets of the week that you'll hear about tomorrow night.
All right. So you got any matchups you want to talk about, John? Do you like anything yet?
I don't think I'm going to bet matchups this week, but I will say because I just continue to look through the top 40 board because like the more we talk about this, the more I'm poking holes in every top 20. So I might just bet all top 40s. Thomas Dietrich is plus 230 for a top 40. I'm looking at
that's
results.
Not bad.
He's finished.
That's pretty good.
Thomas Dietrich has finished top 40 in.
I'll say it out loud.
In 7 consecutive events.
You said it out loud.
Wow, that's not quite true because
he had a withdraw.
WD there.
Oh, where did he?
Because I made a very compelling argument about some obscure golf course in Germany. They did well.
I had him in my fucking one and dones. He fucking 4-putted from 3 goddamn feet and then withdrew.
That was a tough scene.
Okay, if If it's not in Fantasy National, did it actually happen?
That's true.
Yes, it actually happened. Yes.
That's true.
As someone who had a top 20 matchup, all types of shit on. I think I even had him fucking outright that week. Yes, it fucking happened. I promise, John. I promise. The real money that I put down was gone.
You don't get a refund for a withdrawal?
I don't get a refund. I don't have legal books. I have local books. So I can't cry to them. My guy got injured. Can I please get a fucking refund? No,
Haven't you learned that too much Thomas Dietrich is bad for your health, buddy? Everyone's gone through it.
I smoke a pack and a half of cigarettes a day, a trash bag of gin a week, and I bet on people who can't pot. You think Dietrich is my biggest problem? I got plenty of American losers that have cost me more money than fucking Dietrich.
Okay. Fuck. All right, got it. Yeah, anything? Capper, do you have any matchups?
All right, so no matchups.
No matchups?
All right, what about first round leaders?
Okay.
Oh, I've got some first round leaders.
Come on, give them to me, baby.
Okay.
I can't do mine yet, but I'll let you know if I agree with them or not. Let's put that.
Okay, I've got 5.
right,
I'm
like
running
it.
back the co-first round leaders last year, so I'm going back to Tom Hoagie. I'm going back
Love
to
it.
Tommy Fleetwood.
Okay, love one of them.
I'm going Sung J M at 55-1. We throw away last year. The year before, he shot 2 rounds of 66. Who was either like the round of the day or co-round of the day twice. So he can go low. It's Bermuda. I don't usually go as low as 55. I usually go all bombs, but I like that fit. And that was kind of like a FOMO. Like couldn't make it on the outright card, so we'll go first round leader. Sahith 70-1 goes low everywhere. I look back to he's been first round leader or one stroke of first round lead in like 3 of his last 7. So he's
close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. To be a first round leader, you need to be the first round leader.
He is trending towards the top on Thursday.
He's on the wrong trend of the trend.
Okay. Seamus is my last one, 95.
All right.
All right. So we got one in common. So we got to hope Fleetwood hits at 75 if we want to enjoy it together.
All right. There we go.
Well, I missed the trend that you guys are chasing too. So that's at least I got one, I guess, from that.
Exactly.
There you go.
And dude, Fleetwood's been first leader twice here in fucking 4 years.
That's
right.
So that would make it 3 of 5. 3 of 5.
Now that
would be fucking nuts.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, all right, John. Thanks for coming on our show. Really appreciate it. You gave out some really good nuggets tonight. Where can we find you?
Yeah, thank you guys. Always a pleasure to be on with you. You can find me on thelines.com for my written work and starting to do a little bit of YouTube content as well. So you can follow along the Lines YouTube channel for any of those video previews as well. But that's it. That's it for me. Thank you guys.
Don't undersell the best fucking Twitter handle in the golf Twitter scape. I mean, you got PGA Tout. Like that's the best. That's the best handle. So easy.
It's true. That is a fact. That is where you can most easily find me is on Twitter, unlike Steve. So I'll hold down the fort for both of us.
Oh, but Steve's on TikTok now.
Yes, apparently I'm a TikTok star now. Yeah, I feel like Ron Swanson finding out he was on Vine, and I'm like, all right, delete all pictures of Steve. Get me off TikTok, baby.
Is the god of golf your TikTok handle?
I don't know.
John, thanks for coming on, baby. It's always a pleasure. Oh, wait, are you end up coming down to Florida for your bachelor party?
I'm actually going to Montreal for the bachelor party, but a little not as warm, but
not as warm, but there's certain establishments that are very, very nice up there.
We'll have some fun one way or another.
Absolutely.
Ponte Vedra, not Ponte Vedra. That's where you are. Pompano Beach is where my fiance's family has a place. So when I am down there, I'm usually in that area.
Nice. All right. Good stuff, man. All right. Well, John, thanks again, man. And then other than that, you guys know where to find Steve. He's on the Discord channel and chopping it up. I go in there every once in a while, but then one of you guys triggers me by mushing one of my bets, so I got to leave. And you can find me on Twitter at Boston_Capper. Other than that, baby, it's the fucking Players Week. I'll be there this weekend. I'll tweet out where I'm at. If anybody's there, hit me up and go get a beer together or probably a liquor drink. And other than that, just break them fucking bucks.